All right. Welcome to poetry, to Liminal Poem-ents, moments of living poems between worlds. There's very little intention for this container beyond poetry and sharing and hearing and connecting. Um, it's open mic, come as you are, bring your words, feel free to share. It's for an hour. So depending on how many people show up will determine how long each of us have in terms of our share time available. I think it's probably a pretty kind thing to select for poems that are around 5 minutes or less, just to leave room for everyone else to be able to participate. Or if you've got a 10-minute epic, just say, "Hey, does anyone mind if I do a 10-minute epic?" Cool, let's rock, sort of thing. And so, again, there's no rules, but if I had a suggestion, it would just to be aware of time sensitivities for others while we do this. Um, and yeah, that I guess I would ask, does anyone mind if we comment after they share their poem? If we share reflections and things of that nature? Excellent. If there is that sort of vibe going, please just voice it, and we'll honor it. And does anyone want to kick off the jam? I do a thing where I'll ask a question, then I'll just start counting eventually, and if there's no answer, I'll just move forward.
Are we looking for a certain theme or?
Liminality. If that's there, if not, nah, it's just poetry. It's just people, it's just presence.
I don't know. I haven't uh, a plant one, but it's a first draft, so it's like fairly good for a first draft, so it's like, but it might be unfinished.
I love it already.
Um, but liminality. Well, I guess we have the whole hour to do liminality,
Exactly. Yes.
so I don't
And
need to.
I'm going to set up more of these too, uh, for later days. So that's also on the table for them.
Well, yeah, this one's recent, so it feels kind of
Excellent.
relevant. Okay, are we ready? Soaking, immersed. The womb shell that is my entire world pulses with energy and urgency. Cells fill with life water expand to burst the shell. Cells replicate in two directions. Rootlet cells that know to go down, perhaps led by gravity. Stem cells that go up, perhaps directed anti-gravity. Perhaps the sun itself sings them upward. White stem pushes aside crumbs of dirt equal in volume to myself, somehow negotiating the masses, breaking through to open sky. The sunlight exposure changes me through, spurs a production of green chlorophyll, coloring my upper body like embarrassed cheeks. Specialized leaf cells form and lance off from the firm stem, which is the highway of xylem and phloem, as well as scaffolding to reach for the heavens, while swaying to the movement of the sun.
That was great. goodness, did I enjoy that experience. Like in this this is just at least my interpretation and reception of it. Of course, I cannot explain it, but what I was hearing was this allusion to self becoming through this combination of anatomy and botany. Yeah, the womb shell, and then you're bursting through the womb shell and interacting with physics like gravity and anti-gravity, and in that sort of life becoming through this system of resistances, there is like this unique expression that is actuating into that highway of phylum and zo. Oh gosh, I wish I knew my botany better, but I knew what you were referring to, and you said it. And reaching up to the sun, like so. You, I heard you as the world becoming you as the world. Thank you. Mm. So if anyone else has any thoughts or comments or questions after each sharing, um, the vibe is to share your reflections. But if you don't feel like sharing, that's beautiful as well. It's a living poem moment. We don't need to fill it with words at all times. It can be silent too. And if there are no thoughts or reflections, the floor is open for further poems.
I'll share a poem.
Thank you.
It's called Life is Forever Evolving. Rivers flow into the sea, where they meets an estuary. A seed becomes a tree, where birds can nest and be free. Leaves change from green to gold. Humans grow from young to old. They too grow from simple to wise, and life continues when a leaf dies. Caterpillars transform into butterflies. Other creatures also metamorphosize. Chemicals and metals alchemize. Dreams are born and then crystallize. A blue sky becomes one of rain showers, which leads buds to blossom into flowers. Bees create honey out of nectar. All of the earth is connected. The same sun that sets will rise, and its light causes things to energize. The moon turns from a crescent to a hole. The earth is always spinning its poles. Life is forever evolving. No day is ever the same. The world is continuously revolving so nature can reach its aim.
I love the nature themes to this evening, and like I've had this sense of what people often conceive of as opposites, but aren't necessarily like life and death cycles, finding relationality and consilience through that expression. So that felt really complete to me. And I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing.
I love both the poems so far, um, and I can continue on the nature and plant theme as well. This I just wrote a couple days ago. It was a poem uh, I wrote just for my sister's birthday, but it's called Growers Grown Too. Um, it's short. Their floral eyes look kindly, and the webs of Vernon vines enwrap you warmly. For those who push down seeds and acquaint them with the elements are kissed by unseen spirits. Time too becomes a friend to growers who ward space for something to become between birth and death. Time speaks to them in the romance of color, in the slow whisper of cloud and the golden throb of sun. And secret graces rest inside those who let go into this life, wild, cruel, impossibly beautiful.
Gosh, I wish my memory was better at this moment. How did it go? Time speaks to them in the romance of color. Was that an approximation of the line? Oof. So much imagery. Oh my goodness. And evocation. Ah, like mm, the romance to me was evident, woven throughout it, but so was hmm, an element of like the brutality of beauty. I guess, like romance and also the brutality of beauty is what left out in my mind. I don't know if that was behind the pen or not, but maybe it's just on this side of things. Um, thank you for sharing. Do we have further interested poets? If not, I will take a turn. Victor.
Well, it's not a poem of my own, but I went out and found one. All right. So this is Little Gidding from Four Quartets. This is T.S. Eliot. I kind of liked it. All right. So with the drawing of this love and the voice of this calling, we shall not cease from exploration. At the end of all of our exploring, we will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, unremembered gate, when the last of the earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall and the children in the apple tree. Not known because not looked for, but half heard in the stillness between two waves of the sea. Quick now, here, now, always, a condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. And all shall be well, all manner of things shall be well, when the tongues of flames are enfolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one. Oof. I like that one.
Shall cost nothing less than everything.
Yeah.
I, given that Mr. Elliot is not here, I cannot speak too much to the content, but thank you for sharing such a beautiful poem and for your own bravery in participating in that, because you may have not ever done that before. Never. Love it. That's poetry. Carla, I see your mic came off. Is there?
Or I was just going to repeat one of the lines. And know the place for the first time.
Yes. Oh, this has been such an invigorating experience. Okay. So, in sticking with the garden theme, I have a poem. It's called The Heart of My Garden. Not the garden theme, but like the plant theme, the growth theme, the life and the death cycles. I've never read this one out loud to other people, and I might cry. I apologize if I do. I usually also write very rhyme heavy stuff. And this is one of the like 2 or 3 I've ever written that was not like that. My backyard is thick, a tangle of vines, hedges, various grasses, cluttered with that peculiar debris you once called love. Peeking out, bone white beneath shadows, are sheafs of sheet music, sun-stained and free. Remnants of our younger days. Once upon a time, you used to. I can't finish it. I'm sorry. All right, something short and easier to do, and brand new. I've never read this one either. I'm tossing fire darts over the ledge with an aim to inspire hearts. If I'm to take a leap of faith into this world's mighty, tightly clutching arms, the hope is if our surfaces inadvertently brush, there will be a touch of centers, igniting sparks, seeds rising, embers, an invitation into incandescence. The night is ours, but the day is for the daughters and the sons. And I leave the floor open to whoever might want to follow.
I have a poem that I didn't write, but I like it. It's Invictus. Part of it goes, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul.
Thank you, Arthur. That was powerful. And that hit the heart like a flaming arrow. Ah, and thank you for your first share of poetry ever, if I were to wager as well as Victor. It's always a brave move. I appreciate it. Open floor.
What is it, this calling? Falling. Wait a minute, I'm stalling. Let me just try and break something new as I think about what I can do. We're here together in this room trying to make some poems and lines as the fire of friendship grows and glows in our minds. What is new? What is here? What is fresh? What's on my mind and what's the rest? I wait, I find, I see what can try to rhyme.
And as I try to rhyme, I find spontaneity underneath the falling leaves. It's calling to me the sky in between the ground. And how can I find the soul of mine that speaks so loud in tones and casting shadows? Who knows that the sound of soul becoming is flow?
Okay, that flow, let's go, let's rock and roll. Who knows what we can do when we find it? And let's go. Wait a minute, we're already home.
We're already home. It is a feeling within bones that groans under the weight of the world upon shoulders. But wait, I'm standing on the boulder beneath me. So which way does the tension stretch? Who knows? But this breath does connect me to that heartbeat where darks meet and shadows combust and become sons. Again, daughters who knew that the water who flows from within becomes truth only when connected through me and you. All right, I feel like we've hogged the mic for a little bit, Josh. I love it. Lots of fun. I love.
Yeah.
Does Margaret or Carla have a return they would like to grace us with? And that is, of course, an open question to Matt and Victor and Arthur as well. Silence is also art.
I have another short one I'll read. Let hunger lead you to the feast, inadequacy to the desert, to fall beneath a terrible sky. When you feel grand, it's not with yourself that you are full, but with the forest and the sky, the old man's serene face. You cannot wield these forces. They have no use in your affairs. Love demands you leave the locus of your safety. Travel across the space where terror awaits, where everything is given to the altar of strangeness, where finally love will make of you a bowl.
Was one of the lines the locust of your safety?
The locus, like the center.
What does that bowl hold, do you suppose, that time makes of you?
Good question.
But gosh, that sure struck me. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, what better answer, though?
Sometimes the question is better.
Mm. Okay. Into the silence, I will.
Well,
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to close my eyes, and so I thought, oh, I know, I'll find a poem about sleep. I'll try it out. Oh, soft embalmer of the still midnight, shutting with careful fingers and benign our gloom-pleased eyes embowered from the light, and shaded in forgetfulness divine. O soothest sleep, if so it please thee, close in midst of this thine hymn my willing eyes, or wait the amen ere thy poppy throws around my bed its lulling charities. When then save me, or the past day will shine upon my pillow, breeding many woes. Save me from curious conscience that still lords its strength for darkness, burrowing like a mole. Turn thy key deftly in the oiled wards and seal the hushed casket of my soul. And Keats, it's a bit of a hard read, but hey, I gave it a shot.
What tool are you using to look for poems?
I was using Claude, actually. I was using Claude this time.
I'll have to try that. That seems to be an effective resource.
Yeah.
It's got good taste, at least.
Well, I could have done the 15 to 20 minute longer The Sleepers by Walt Whitman, but I was trying to find something shorter.
Maybe we can close with that 20-minute if you feel you've got the breath to do it. This is for you. And you. And you. And you. Rest assured, my thirsty friend, cups will be raised. Whether in toast or memorial, is yet to be glimpsed in between blinks that split the stream of now and when, of how and if. All we know that means anything, the only meaning there is to be stripped bare from bone, is that life has a bittersweet bouquet with a hint of cherry and a smidge of gunpowder. Exhilarating, delicious, and frightening. So who has time to haunt? Time is for the living. As for all the rest, they must be content with peace. An argument for gluttony if I've ever heard one. And I have. They are written in his smile and her laughter and their tears. These are the most convincing. All the more so if we are fortunate enough to taste this bouquet that's whispered onto our lips by the sweet susurrus of that strange river deemed otherness. Safety knows nothing of hunger nor of zest, knows nothing of clamor nor of subtle compliment. Casinos are for the timid. Give me dice, a knife, and the street. I prefer 1,000,000 to 1 odds on every even day in both spring and fall. Let me carve my name into the concrete so that the untold throngs treading across our soon-to-be storied anonymity have something to stumble over, have a stub for their toe. The greatest gift I could ever give to them is to show that while love isn't pain, pain sure the fuck is love. And therein, writhing deep in this rambling, sweaty, yearning beast of a poem, lays my favored defining aspect of beauty. A note that when sang by the false light of the true moon, next to the cold comfort of an old friend, renders it all worthwhile. Every sling and arrow, every tooth and claw, every wound and scar. It is all fucking worth it. This is not just a mantra, a refrain contrived to please the ear. It is simply the law of this land, its rhythm pounded out by the clamor of metal, the scream of thunder, and the promise of fire. Casinos are for cowards. Round here, we gamble moments, golden days, and seconds like gemstones, our only invaluable resource. Aren't they a delicious draft? Is there not a thing more savory than this time, this place, right here, right now? So yes, my thirsty friend, cups will be raised. But until then, please never tell me goodbye. What a good time. I love you all.
That was a beast of a poem. A real beast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's delicious.
Oh. Most of my poems make me cry while I do them because they all have like dead friends into them. And so it's just like,
I want to hear that first one you started on, FYI, but I know you stopped for a reason. So, but it was that's on. I'm engaging here. This is good stuff.
much love. I'm going to try it again at some point. I only stopped because I started crying and I realized I couldn't speak more. But I want to try and get it out. So thank you.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Give it on, sure.
All right. I'm going to step away and do some grocery shopping for dinner.
Good
Thanks,
chat.
Joe.
Thank you so much for your time and your shares.
Thanks for the venue read. Looking forward to the next one. Right.
He didn't dare say goodbye.
Yep.
He didn't dare.
Oh, that's the vibe we're trying to keep alive. Oh, show.
Nice.
Oh,
Hello,
so I'd love to hear. Oh, do we have another?
Matthew.
Oh, Matthew has joined.
What a colour.
Yes, yes. So Matthew appears to be in listener's repose. He's welcome to speak if it ever feels called to come forth. I'm glad you're here. I find myself drawn to asking Margaret or Carla if they wish to share more. I would love to hear from them, but no pressure whatsoever. Just want to offer.
I'll share another short one. It's called Tuning Into Myself. This month, I'm tuning into myself. I'm tapping into what brings me health. I'm doing what makes me come alive. I'm focusing on areas where I thrive. I'm no longer saying yes to people blindly. I'm instead choosing things designedly. I'm no longer suppressing the negative feelings. I'm being aware of them to experience healings.
Yes, becoming yourself this month and all the rest. Love it. I hear a passion for life there, and that is contagious. Much appreciated.
Will you read the last line just one more time?
Yeah, sure. I'm being aware of them to experience healings.
They really do guide us towards that direction, don't they? These feelings of ours.
I'm feeling called to share an old song. Clunk. Okay, now here's the thing to remember, because it's been a while. Let me just. I tell you what, give me a moment to recall it, and then I'll share it. Okay, so I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'll come back.
I await with bated breath.
Okay.
That was fast.
But that chord was enough to get it going. It's pretty late out here, so I don't wake up the neighbors, but we'll be good. Yeah. Be that warmth, one shining ray, gotta send it up, you gotta radiate. Be that light to all you know, yeah, karma comes around and it lights that glow. The rest is gone. It's still in the air, actually. But that's what wanted to be shared. It's a theme today, this one.
Thank you. I love the resurrection, and I look forward to the rest when it comes back. I relate. I've got so many pieces in my head that I just forget for like a decade, and then like, oh my god, I remember that exists, and I'll get going, and then it'll go quiet, and then it'll come back, and it'll go quiet, come back, and go quiet.
It was half written ages ago.
Oh,
like 10 years ago or something like that. And then another half was written with somebody I've been thinking about today, actually, for just, a quick second pass, I suppose, at getting a second verse or whatever. And so that's why I'm like, oh, it's the theme today.
I see. Very.
I just wish I could remember what we wrote together.
I find that in my own pursuit of the re-memorization, I'll get that part, I'll hold it, I'll spark, and I'll let it go. I'll start paying attention to something else, and then it'll pop in there when I least expect it. So fingers crossed. I'd love to hear that second verse.
Yeah, I'll have to hit her up for it.
Even better. If you feel called to share any other songs, that's why the headphones are on, so I can get that full juiciness out of it.
Is the mic even working? Because I've tried it a few times on the computer, and if it's coming through, then yeah, sure.
It is indeed. Yeah. It's just the typical thing when you've got one mic and a voice and a guitar, is it blends your signals together. And so this gives me more of a discernment, but it definitely comes through.
Okay.
And again, I personally am wide open to all musicality in this space.
Oh, this is gonna have to dig.
So I'm just going to start grabbing random partially finished pieces in these moments of silence, because those are the shortest things I got, and I hope they're good at all. I won't even try to read them first. When I am most confident is when I am most blind. Though passion bleeds from these veins, like watching a beautiful woman casually undress or playing chess with the ghost of time. The only pieces we have to move are pawns. I have learned that the truth is often wrong. I am speaking in terms of permanence and its basic lack of substance. The heart grasping after sustenance, the basis for what love is. That's a snippet. Yeah.
The heart grasping after sustenance. I like that.
Much appreciated. It's what it does on the daily. Feed me. Yes, here I am. You are feeding my heart. Thank you for its sustenance. All of you.
Let your heart's hunger lead you to the feast.
Writing that one down.
Yourself back at you.
We're speaking in poem now.
My faith is of art. Like this is, I don't think we have a choice but to speak in poetry. We just call analytical words something other than poetry for some reason, but really it's just art. It's all art. And I love this growing awareness that we can and do speak in poetry all the time. And it's all beautiful. I can hear the hymns in your harmonies and the tremors that ride the rhythms of your darker dreams, to suggest that every whole must part in three before it learns how far it needs to quest to complete its thesis, breath, and arteries. A heart that beats to drive the needs of sex, skin that sweats when ardor and carnal compulsion meet, to beat the brain at this fixed game, the passion and incandescence that erupts when we touch this flame. That was just another snippet. Like there's pieces. Done.
Oh my god! Yeah, this is great, man. This is great. This is so nourishing. Like,
Y'all are feeding my heart, fro show.
I'm really, really, I'm at a loss for words, but the movement, the rhythm, the cadence, like the nuance of what you're kicking out is
Mm.
yeah, this is the good hip hop, yo. Like it's the good hip hop. Like
Those are my roots. I'm more poet than hip hopper. So when I make hip hop, it it's clear that the cadence is its own thing in relation to the beat. Um, but I do better hip hop without the beat, ironically. But yes. Oh, I'm going to do a writer's workshop probably sometime this coming week and for Limicon event called the Writers Room. And it's meant to be a group exercise. If anyone is interested in coming, it's based on this concept of the writer's box. Is saying, well, you don't have writer's block. You just wrote yourself into a box. And now you're like, okay, I'm just reaffirming my patterns. So how do I break out of my box? Well, you do so by the writer's room. You do so by, and so I've got a little formula that works well for me that I'm hoping we can do together as a group. And because that's the idea, is to co-creatively write.
yeah, damn.
So
Yeah.
it'll be on the schedule if anyone is interested.
I want to apologize that I missed your session the other night. I didn't realize until I kind of like I was like, oh, bummer. I wanted to go to that. Like anyway, it just came to mind since you're offering another session. It's like, yeah, I hope I won't miss that one by mistake.
Well, thank you. But I do understand entirely that you are 9 hours ahead of us. And you're gracing us with your presence right now, right? You're in Portugal?
Yeah, it's 1:44 a.m. at the minute.
Okay.
It's good stuff though. It was absolutely worth the journey. Like absolutely worth the journey. So like, my pleasure.
I'm so happy you made it. Very much. Are you having a follow-up event?
Yeah, I've put it on the calendar. I've got a TBC or on the link, but it's on the calendar.
What day is it?
Tuesday, I think.
Perfect.
Got to check myself, but
I definitely look forward.
I have another poem that I like, but I'm not quite sure how it will land in this space.
Do it.
But it's about Apache warrior going to war, and he's praying to grandfather for forgiveness. And hold on, let me read it. It goes, "Grandfather of all scouts, I am your servant. I am your people's servant. I have always sought peace and laid down the lance. But now there is no choice, for all else has failed. Forgive me, grandfather, for now I must pick up the lance. Direct my mind, direct my heart, so that there is no hatred, rage, or revenge. I use the power given on to me from the place of love for my enemies. And if it is your will, I will lay down my life for my enemy, my brother. I now willing shoulder the burden of the warrior. Guide my hands, guide my heart."
That was awesome. Thanks for sharing, Arthur.
Mhm.
Do you know Sturgill Wilson? He's got an album called The Ballad of Dude and Juanita, which I feel might resonate with you if you don't know him.
No, I haven't heard it. If you put it in the chat, I'll look into it.
Yeah, I'll check you and I'll hold the whole album.
I will look too. And yes, Arthur, that poem landed. Thank you so much for your shares. Art is a battlefield. So I'd say it's very apropos to love. So as typical, I will turn my eyes towards the more quiet members of the group and just offer them some space again to share their beauty with us if they feel called. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so I won't say names anymore, but I'm looking at you. All right. This one's complete. It's relatively short, but I don't remember if I like it or not. Let's find out. I just got this big list of ones. I was like, what's you? What are you? All right. Father Light and Mother Earth conjoined. The soils were fertile with the seeds of life. The warmth of their union infused the clay until it became flesh. This holy child, this perfect circle. What depths have you discovered? Through the layers of self, the aeons illuminate. To grow up, we must grow in. To show how, we must know who is behind the mask we wear. It's no one. What fruits can old time produce? Our grandmother, lumbering on feet of clay, bearing a message to her progeny. Be free and know your flesh is new. Exactly.
Did you say that was a recent one?
Within the past couple of years, I wrote it. Let's see, in yeah, like 2022, and I haven't opened it since then until now. And Matthew has a hand up. Hello, Matt.
I do. I just threw something together. Getting older, the energy is slipping. I'm much less bolder to keep on gripping the stone that rolls over me, not as able to slow it. Too much straining to be free, and I don't fit like I used to be.
That hits home. My goodness. Oh, yeah. I was gonna not do this today because I realized I was sick this morning. And then I went to like 3 Zooms and I just got tireder and tireder and tireder. I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to lay down. But I told people I'd be here, so I better show up. And thus I did. And I'm so happy I did. Thank you all. Oh, thank you, Matthew, for your share. It's very salient.
I meant to show up here at 8, and I've just been kind of lazing around the house, not doing anything, and all of a sudden I was like, Reed's thing, what am I doing? So
Your presence is a present.
I appreciate it.
In enjoyable blending, I feel a mending. What speaks through me now? I hope not condescending. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to ad lib, but it's gone at this point.
It's great.
Yeah, I've loved this. Thank you very much. I will see you again on Zoom soon.
Mhm.
I'll see you soon.
You see, you keep going. You just can't stop it.
No, those are bad ones from like 2020, man. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
pleasure.
thank you, and sleep well. I'll see you soon.
Bless.
Do we have any further inspired shares? Anybody?
That's a lot to ask for.
I do that a lot. It's true. They can just be inspiring shares. Those are also great.
Okay. It's called Hug. The grip of woven arms transcend to mend a circle without end. Between shared tears is a twinkle in the eyes where love never fades and never dies.
It felt like a hug. I'm going to do my best to have a transcription bot in here next time, so I could keep reading it while I'm hearing it and remember those perfect lines that leap out at me. And yes, thank you very much. What's also on the table for next time is there's a room here with a transcription bot in it that sends the transcription to an AI image generator and illustrates the background of the room with what you're saying. So literally every poem would have its own illustrated image that is capturing the essence of what is being spoken. But we need the administrator to be present to run the room, which is why we're not doing it currently. But I think that would be beautiful to see and an imagining of what everyone is sharing.
To see the ennui.
Yes. The sea beyond we.
Mm.
Ennui. Ennui. This is French for, I believe, a type of sorrow. Could I borrow some meaning from you so I may transfer it into tomorrow to have a through line of moment to moment, the poems becoming broken wide open so the shell can regrow? And then I ran out of flow.
Yay. You ran out of flow.
Oh.
I have another short lyrical thing here. Earth breathes of fire through midnight lips, and darkness shrines the dance of light. Hot limbs of air reveal the body, a dancing torrent bringing soul to sight. Woodfall rises in a bloom of smoke, and hips stir low into the grass of earth. Terror's song calls before the door, baiting soul to birth. Soon stillness lures the sinking flame, and silence drinks the fading coal, and daylight comes to borrow brightness from the quaking night of soul.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Mm.
There's so much eros in that poem
Mm.
of the cosmic variety.
Mm.
Mm. If you're quiet, you can hear the darkness listening, waiting for the light to speak. This is the oldest story ever told, perhaps the only. We find it in the disheveled bedroom of order and chaos, churning, surging, burning from a chill so intense it incites embers, arising from the battlefield of the love that exists between hope and the nothing. Within that maelstrom of passion's urgent abandon, there is birthed a song, a harmony of voices, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And into the eyes of night, dawn emerges.
I'd like to have that one typed out. Thank you.
Thank you. So I recorded this session with the intention of putting it into the Limicon recorded sessions. Does anyone have an objection to that? I will take silence as an answer. But if anyone does wish to object, then the recording doesn't need to exist. I, for one, am very happy to have it, though. This is a cherished moment for me. Um, and I wish I had this around where I'm at in the world because I do it a lot. Yeah, I love y'all's art.
Yeah, thank you for the space. This is really nice, and yeah, it's nice how quickly we're all able just to share without maybe having much time together in circle. So it just makes me think of the potential of like doing regular things and the trust and confidence that's built. I really love just the hearing the synergy of poems too, and like maybe a similar theme from a different angle and a different voice. And just yeah, it's really rich. So thank you for having this space.
It was my pleasure, and thank you for fulfilling the space. I would love to pursue an examination of this as a circling technique and an addendum to other circling techniques as well. I love that vision you conjured there with your share. Um, there will be more of these on the calendar. Does anyone have any propositions of themes for the next ones?
Well, if we end up doing it in the like AI picture room, things that involve our relationship with technology could be interesting.
All right. Being noted down. Yeah, that is evocative. And I will probably write something new for that theme. Are my favorite types of themes. Now, if anyone has any further sharings, I am all ears. If not, the container was until 7. And so I will, it's not up to me to close the container because we're all here making the circle together. I'm just noting it was till 7. So we can do whatever we want. I am sick and tired though, and so I might move towards rest relatively soon if there are not further shares at the moment. But I am here for them. There are. I've had lots of inspirations to write about in this meeting. Thank you, Carla, for the word that I now can embody. This was a lot of fun, and for me, full of love and life and growth. And I really look forward to the next time I see any of you in any context whatsoever.
Thank you for your time.
And the experience. All right. Have a wonderful evening.